Hey guys, long time no see. Today I wanted to read chapter 16, and I'm going to read James Legg's version. If you're familiar with it, you might know it sounds a bit more Victorian than some of the newer translations, but you can read it safely online. So without further ado, let's dive in. The state of vacancy should be brought to the utmost degree, and that of stillness guarded with unwearying vigor. All things alike go through their processes of activity, and then we see them return to their original state. When things in the vegetable world have displayed their luxuriant growth, we see each of them return to its root. This returning to their root is what we call the state of stillness. And that stillness may be called a reporting that they have fulfilled their appointed end. The report of that fulfillment is the regular unchanging rule. To know that unchanging rule is to be intelligent. Not to know it leads to wild movements and evil issues. The knowledge of that unchanging rule produces a grand capacity and forbearance. And that capacity and forbearance lead to a community of feeling with all things. From this community of feeling comes a kingliness of character, and he who is king-like goes on to be heaven-like. In that likeness to heaven he possesses the Tao. Possessed of the Tao he endures long, and to the end of his bodily life is exempt from all the danger of decay. I'm certainly not the first to say this, but Legg's translation can be a lot. Not wrong, just very Victorian. And I don't blame anyone for hearing it and not really resonating with the language. One of my favorite translations, though, it isn't really safe to read online in full because of copyright restrictions. It's Ames and Hall. It's still academic, but it's more modern. They try to hold the spirit of the text, the history, and the classical commentaries all at once. And I'll never come on here and tell you what a chapter really means. I don't think you can pin the Tao down like that. Things are always changing, including our own understanding. But in this chapter, what feels clear is the theme of returning. Returning to the root. Returning to where things come from. Returning to stillness doesn't mean shutting down. It's more like letting life come toward you without getting dragged into every reaction, and without needing to push or control everything. When we look at the world from the ground up, the seasons, the weather, the way things grow and fade, we notice something. The heavens aren't disturbed by us. The sun rises on everyone. It scorches, it warms. It doesn't play favorites. That isn't cruelty. That's impartiality. And the text is pointing to that kind of constancy as alignment with the way things are. And that has implications. It shows up in how we relate to others, especially when we have influence. A leader or anyone with power in a relationship, a family, a community, isn't more divine. They just have more impact. Which means there's more responsibility not to impose their own ego, not to bend reality around preference, not to play favorites with how things unfold. It's not about being nicer or wiser than everyone else. It's about being clear enough that you stop trying to distort the pattern. And it isn't instant. It's cultivation. It's why Legg brings up the fields. It's tending the conditions. Habits loosen, reactions pass through instead of sticking, and we keep coming back to the center. And this isn't only about our inner life. It shows up in our relationships too. When we stop feeding agitation, the space around us slowly softens. We're not fixing people. We're not rising above them. We're simply rooted enough that things don't have to spiral out of control. In that kind of environment, people can breathe. Conversations are open. Growth actually has room. So if there's one thing this chapter invites, at least for me, it's this. Keep returning. Not to force calm, not to pretend to be enlightened, but to remember the root. And let your presence become a place where life can move through without distortion. Peace, and I'll see you in the next one.